So the Bangalore Residency project is a form of cultural exchange which we have developed over the past 4 or 5 years, in which we invite German artists or artists from Germany to come and spend a couple of months in Bangalore and to work on their own individual projects, but at the same time to interact and communicate with the local artists, the local art scene and the city itself.
Also im Goethe-Institut weltweit gibt es verschiedene Modelle von Residenzen. Also das erste ist irgendwie so, man hat ein Haus als Goethe-Institut und da kommen Künstler rein. Und dann versucht man natürlich, diese Künstler mit der Stadt, mit den Kulturschaffenden der Stadt zu verbinden. Aber zunächst mal sind das die Residenten des Goethe-Instituts zum Beispiel in Kyoto. Das ist natürlich ein ganz anderes Modell. Das hat seine Vorteile, das hat seine guten Seiten auch. Aber unser Residenzmodell ist anders. Bei uns gehen die Residenten nicht in unser Goethe-Institut, sondern wir vermitteln die Residenten zu Kultureinrichtungen in der Stadt. Das heißt, dass jeder einzelne Resident aus Deutschland kommt und nicht ins Goethe-Institut, sondern in ein Museum. Und da hat er seine Ansprechpartner. Oder in eine Galerie und da hat er seine Ansprechpartner. Das heißt, dass dieses Residenzprogramm bei uns im Dreieck zwischen Goethe-Institut, Künstler und lokalem indischen Gastgeber existiert. Und das ist, glaube ich, vor allen Dingen in der Größe. Wir haben jetzt derzeit 12 Künstler bei uns. In der Größe zumindest ist es wahrscheinlich doch einzigartig in der Goethe-Welt.
We started very small with one host partner in the city, one cultural organization, and we invited one resident at that time to come and spend some time in the city and work on his own creative project. And then slowly we realized that the first initial initiative was a success and that other partners also wanted to come on board, partners in the city. So we invited them on board and slowly the project just grew.
I run One Shanti Road, which has been an art space, and we've been doing this for the past 15 years. So it's one of the oldest residencies in the city. 2005, when Evelyn Hoost was the director, we had a conversation and we started off this residency program. So Shanti Road became one of the pilot projects for them to start off the German-India residency. So what we really believed was that to have artists who have a certain agenda, but that could change in the process of a residency program, and we would facilitate connecting them with people who could take it further. We generally have this particular format where there is an initial time where they get introduced to the city, they start thinking about how their project can really kind of network with different people or different contexts, and later on culminate towards a show.
My name is Poonam Bir Kasturi and I run this company called Daily Dump. This is the first time we are engaging with the Bangalore Residency program with the Goethe-Institut. This particular, the first time, it's just a great learning experience for us. We have an opportunity to say, okay, this I can do better next time, this I will do this way, I will leverage this more. So I think we've had a great learning and we would like to actually continue this and see how we could use this year to year and grow from that.
My name is Francesco Petruccelli. I am a visual artist and I won a residency here by the Goethe-Institut and by Daily Dump because I had a project in mind that involved art and trash. So far, trash is on the pavement. Here people seem to ignore, simply to walk around. It's there. It doesn't belong to nobody. But once you have a dead body, then maybe it's something different. But then there is some kind of disgust, some kind of catching the attention. But in the end, there is no big distinction between trash and human being. It's we all do the same end. And this I show by the fact that the skin of the man is done also with trash bag. If I would have been in a kind of a golden cage in a hotel, just receive pre-digested information, I would have wasted a lot of time. Exactly as I was saying before, to abstract yourself, to get the peaceful state of mind to produce art, you have first to jump in and receive all the possible information. The only way you can do is by living in a house, going, in my case, for my type of idea, going in this office with this organization and working there by them and talking with the people and being brought around and see the place and talk. It was fundamental, absolutely. Otherwise, I could have stayed in Berlin. It wouldn't have changed so much.
The interesting fact about the Bangalore Residency, which has now become something of a trademark, is that there are so many partners who are very much interested and ready to host residents from different genres. It's not only visual artists, it's architects, it's designers, it's I don't know, many different strands of cultural activists.
Our mission is to encourage and foster dialogue and cultural exchange, and that happens almost naturally there. You can't predict what's going to happen. You can control it a little bit, but most of the time there's happening much more than you could expect.
It's a true partnership program. On the one hand, the Goethe-Institut takes over the cost for bringing the residents. They provide the facilities for the jury to select the residents, and the partners host them, and that's unique.
Hier ist dann die Frage, wie passt das in den indischen Kontext und wie passt diese deutsche Sicht, dieser deutsche Künstler zum indischen Host und das, was den gerade interessiert. Ja, also jetzt haben wir einen Künstler, der macht 3D-Musik und es gibt hier auch einen Host, der interessiert sich für 3D-Musik. Wenn es hier diesen Gastgeber nicht gäbe, wäre es wahrscheinlich schwierig, diesen deutschen Künstler mit seiner 3D-Musik hier als Residenten einzuladen.
I'm Felix from Leipzig, and I work in the WISP collective. We are a collective of designers, visual artists, sound artists, and basically we do like audiovisual installations and media installations. And me myself, I have to focus on sound, and 3D sound is like my main focus for like the last 3 or 4 years. What we do here is we open a 3D sound lab. Like artists have the chance to come here and work with 3D audio technology, what they might not have in their home studios or wherever.
So I'm Bernd LOTZELER, I'm from Berlin, and I'm a filmmaker, and I make films on film, like as in like 16, 8mm, and on digital, and sometimes also make expanded works, which are like leaving the context of a black box cinema situation. I had a certain like project idea, which came to me like being in Bombay for many years, but it was totally clear to me I will never be able to execute that in Bombay. So I knew that Bangalore has more space people are more relaxed, people are more open to art also. So this film is an experimental film which only goes into interior spaces of shops, of like local small shops which are crammed with products up to the ceiling and above, and cluttered. So we're putting a track like a slider, and the camera will always move forward on that slider inside one shop and then cut into the next shop, cut into the next shop, cut into the next shop. That's basically it. So that's the film.
You know, there's already an understanding of the kinds of artists that the Goethe-Institut is interested to support, or the kind of practice that the Goethe-Institut is interested to support. So we're on the same page. It's very much about a dialogue. It's very much about what we as a community need in terms of support, what the artist community there needs in terms of support. You know, there's a strong experimental film culture in Germany. There's also anyway a strong kind of art and culture dialogue through essentially what was the Max Mueller Bhavan, and you know, the Indian artist scene in Bombay and then Bangalore. Essentially the Goethe-Institut is very connected to the arts community in Bangalore, has been for many years. So, you know, the relationships that they've developed with the hosts is at the core of what makes this a successful program, you know.
My name is MARJE HIRVONEN and I am a dancer and a choreographer. My host is Atta Kalari. For me it's interesting to find a temporary community with the students. They are 12, they know each other quite well, and to see the body as something that connects us with each other. So we don't actually need a common language or cultural background. We all have the same body. And I had been in India once, in Chennai, 7 years ago. At that time I found it quite heavy. I did a lot of traditional dance and martial arts. I learned a lot about Indian culture, and this time I thought it would be amazing to now come with my dancing background and bring this to the local Indian people.
Each of the residents are unique and they have different expectations of a residency and a space. So each one of them have to be treated individually and very subjectively. Just talking about George, who is our resident now. When George came in, there were 5 Indian artists who were invited, all of them very young and from different parts of India. So we were a little worried about how George would interact with them. I think George had a great time interacting with the young Indian artists. A lot of partying happened, a lot of networking, and he really misses them after this 1 month residency. He really thinks that he had a really great time.
The last 3 times I've applied were all to Shanti Road, because looking at all the other hosts, it felt that Shanti Road was the best, or could be the best match for me. I mean, the people that come here and exhibit here and have lectures here and workshops here, it's all very based in art history in a way, and also have a very theoretical approach to art. I feel like I'm now able to communicate with people freely without putting up a wall or playing a role or something. So this is something that I've definitely experienced here, and that's like a transformation that I feel was super important for myself and for my personal growth. So I don't feel that I'm taking home a lot about like my approach to work, but about myself and how I approach people in general.
With the development of the residency, other people commented and remarked on the fact that this was more or less a one-way street. But the Bangalore artists were extremely curious about what happens in Germany. So on an experimental basis, we identified 4 organizations in Germany who could provide infrastructure and host, in that sense, artists from Bangalore.
Many artists from Berlin, Cologne, Munich especially have come here, and with this they have created an alternative program with a different kind of a funding structure where they can invite us. So there was a double road project that happened this year which connected Bangalore artists with Munich artists. Most of them are our past residents.